This is going to be a quick one. This is literally playing out right in front of our eyes. We're seeing banks. Now, it's not that they're going completely cashless or anything like that at the moment or so far, but we're seeing customers being turned away from banks if they try and get cash out. So some branches are no longer, issuing their own customers cash. They're being told to go to an ATM, and as things progress, imagine if, banks themselves slowly become obsolete, and the only form of banking you can do is online. What would that mean? The complete elimination of cash without ever having to need any issue, any order, or anything like that saying banning cash. Very similar to how we saw here in Australia. Some mandates weren't mandates, but states themselves rolled out a mandate, or a business themselves rolled out their mandate. So imagine if cash is completely legal, tender still, but no banks that issue cash actually allow you to, get any of your own cash. Now, you can't make this up. Here we go.
Taken another step towards a cashless society. A big bank has confirmed customers in some locations can no longer withdraw money over the counter as branches continue to wind back services.
Wind back cash.
It's up there
services.
with the pub with no beer, the bank with no cash.
Bank with
ANZ
no cash.
has confirmed some branches no longer handle cash at the counter. Others are directing customers to smart ATMs for cash transactions. ANZ says only 8% of its customers rely solely on branches. NAB says for its customers, it's only 3%. The number of bank branches nationally dropped 30% in major cities over 5 years.
So what's the trend we're seeing? We're seeing a trend whereby individuals like you or I, the product, the consumer, are being coerced ever so slightly into not needing to go to the branch to get cash out, because everything's so convenient now with your card. You can tap and pay, you've got the chip, you've got your digital cash all online. You can log into your online app and stuff like that for convenience, which is fine. But should you actually want cash, you go back and realize, it's actually quite difficult to get your own cash out. Now, this has been known for a while now, but I just thought this was interesting, given the things I'm going to cover next.
Years, from more than 3,000 to around 2,300.
It's closed down about 12 months ago, so I've got to come down to South Melbourne. And if that closes down, I don't know where I've got to go. So for checks...
So if it closes down one location, you go to the next location. What if one day you can't get cash from anywhere? What are you supposed to do? Go to the Reserve Bank? Interesting.
And everything else.
It's a worldwide trend, and there are concerns it hurts disadvantaged customers.
So it's not just here in Australia. Go to your local area, your jurisdiction. Maybe have a look. Is there any banks, and how many was there, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, comparatively to now?
The most.
Senior citizens, new migrants, people who are disabled, they do need, if you like, face-to-face help. There's a danger here of excluding some elements of our society when we talk about inclusion all the time.
The latest figures on ATMs shows the number of machines.
It's opposite world. We want to, be inclusive of everyone, regardless of your gender now, regardless of anything. But we don't want you to actually have cash or any sort of freedoms, right? Makes you wonder.
Has more than halved from almost 14,000 back in 2017 to around 6,000 in the middle of last year.
I would point out to people that cash is still very important, both as a means of payment, because if you're paying by cash, you don't get surcharged.
Emma O'Sullivan.
I didn't even think of that. You must pay your fee, because we need our fees, We're from the bank and we're here to help. Now, moving on to the next point. So, worldwide, we're seeing less banks, and at the same time, we're seeing the ability to get your cash out. It's becoming harder. Less banks, less cash, you could say. What happens if ATMs start disappearing? How are you going to do a bank run? You can't. All you can do is transfer your money from one app to another app. What happens if they roll out the CBDC on you? Well, let's get into that next, all right? So we have here, I think we might have seen this before, white paper uncovers how federal banking regulators are waging Operation Choke Point 2.0 against cryptocurrency. There was an original choke point, not 2.0, which this article goes on to explain. But let's focus on cryptocurrency because I don't know if you noticed lately in the economic environment, we've seen some bank failures, and it just happens to be that some of the banks that failed, that weren't bailed out or purchased, or the assets weren't purchased to enable the function of a particular system to operate, that happened to serve cryptocurrency, the cryptocurrency industry. It just so happens that that one is, no longer in existence. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this article goes on to explain businesses in the crypto industry are suddenly finding themselves debanked, and it's not because they've been, actually had their accounts closed. The actual bank fucking closed. Now, because of why? Because of the inability to manage risks when it comes to bonds. Because they couldn't think of a safer way to invest all of their assets other than 10-year treasuries at like 1.2%. And they didn't factor in, what if there's like consecutive rate rises on these bonds? And what would happen to the price of the bond? Would get some more yield, yes, but what would happen to the assets on our books? Would we be insolvent? They couldn't calculate that. They couldn't? That's like some high level incompetence right there. I'll go on. Finding themselves debanked and stripped of access to the ACH network without explanation. And in the past few weeks, federal regulators effectively shut down a bank that was known to be serving the crypto industry. Ha 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 ha. What a accident that was. Now, and then choose to shutter rather than sell part of the bank that serves the digital asset customers at the cost of billions of dollars. So instead of basically saying, here, you got other bank, you can take this on and continue this operation. No, we'll just fucking close it, shut it. It goes on to say some other stuff which you might care to read in your own time. Now, so what we're seeing banks becoming more hostile to cash. We're seeing less branches. We're seeing a push towards this digital dollar. Whether we like it or not, we have no choice in the matter, because it's very hard for myself to go open a bank and issue cash, or even an ATM for that matter. Because what if the ATMs become cashless one day? In the name of safety, so people can't steal the cash from the ATM, for example. Because cash is dirty and carries viruses and we have to physically touch it. Never mind that, you have to pay fees when you're using a card or anything like that. Never mind that once the banks, or whoever rolls it out, governments, roll out a central bank digital currency or some way, shape or form, that you'll be tracked and traced every single transaction you do. And you'll have no freedom or privacy for that matter. Because the ability to purchase whatever you want, like legally, basically will be dictated by the government of the day. Because they might decide, that you've purchased too many bottles and somehow bottles have become dangerous. Then we see Operation Choke Point 2.0 being waged at the same time as massive bank runs, which happen to be on banks that were servicing the crypto industry. And instead of, saving that part of the business, they just let it fail. While banks are closing and limiting access, literally limiting access to cash. We have in Australia a new proposal for a bill to regulate crypto. Now, when you analyze it, you could say, well, okay, they want to protect consumers, which is fine, and they want to promote the cryptocurrency environment. Which I wonder, because is this particular politician actually pro-crypto? What is his actual stance on it? What do they actually know about cryptocurrency? All of them. Not just this political party, that politician, all of them. Every single one of them. They're only human. They're just like you or me. But most likely, we may know more about crypto than they. So then there's that. Now, within this bill, it actually goes on to explain that, we need to regulate central bank digital currencies that are issued. So I'm thinking, okay, so wait, you're talking pro crypto while at the same time being pro central bank digital currency. I'm not sure cash and crypto can coexist with a fully functional and operational central bank digital currency. Like, I'm pretty sure they cannot. We have this then. This may seem amazing that a politician from Florida is deciding to put forward a bill, so in a similar manner to a politician in New South Wales is putting a bill forward to regulate crypto. So you could say the argument to regulate crypto is to accept crypto. So once regulation comes into play, you can then trade safely on any exchange because it's regulated. Like, was it not already the exchange is not already regulated? Like, do banks not already accept fiat because you can exchange your cryptocurrency for fiat on and off ramps, etc., and vice versa? So you can say, oh, that's good. Promoting investment, promoting new bodies to regulate cryptocurrency, creating more jobs, you could say, creating more taxpayer, finding new ways to spend taxpayer money, you could say also. But then this article comes out saying banning CBDCs might accidentally ban Bitcoin too. So you then go back and go, well, hang on. So this bill here is saying regulate crypto. Regulating crypto, good, because it's acceptance of crypto. Banning CBDCs may accidentally ban Bitcoin. But remember, central bank digital currencies cannot exist with crypto, real crypto, and cash. So it's very, very confusing. But then think about it. You do have the way it's framed. So you say here, government proposes law to ban CBDCs. You read it, that's amazing, yes. Ban CBDCs, We don't want CBDCs because of their ability to track and trace and loss of privacy and all of that comes along with the technology, which would be central bank digital currencies. But then politicians are then confusing, I think, or putting in the same basket central bank digital currencies and crypto. And their definition of crypto is confusing, if you ask me. However, going back, you then see it explains here. I'll put a link in the bottom. Basically, this came out at roughly the same time. I'm not sure how they do they know each other or something like that. It was commented in the LinkedIn page. Here's some more information about it. I believe this came out before this article here, which actually gives a link to the actual bill itself and the wording, which if you see here, it goes on to explain. I won't go over it too much. It says, first the recommendations of the committee address the need to regulate central bank digital currencies in Australia. The bill provides for the following: digital asset exchange authorization and requirements, digital asset custody authorization requirements, stablecoin issuance authorization requirements, and disclosure requirements for facilitators of central bank digital currencies in Australia. So the bill, if you look at it, pull back, zoom out, hang on. So I guess my questions are, how are they going to define a digital asset? Specifically to DeFi, real DeFi. And then how they're going to define it, I guess, to stablecoins such as, US backed ones, USDC, DeFi ones like DAI. However, then you understand, some of it has USDC as backing it. So it's like a rabbit hole within a rabbit hole. Then it says actual disclosure requirements for facilitators of central bank digital currencies, meaning that they're going to be openly accepting central bank digital currencies. Now, this is all taking place while, I repeat, banks are closing. There's less cash. There's less ability to access cash. What if ATMs start to close down and you can't actually physically get cash anymore? They won't have to announce a ban on cash. You just won't be able to get it. You have Operation Choke Point 2.0 taking place, conveniently shutting down a bank which actually was serving the cryptocurrency businesses. We then have a bill here in Australia which you could view it one way or the other, depending on how you frame it. Bill to regulate crypto, which is actively talking about accepting central bank digital currencies and is quite vague on real DeFi. We then have central bank digital currencies, a bill to, ban it, which if you frame it in that sense is amazing, I think, because, you don't want everything that comes along with the central bank digital currency, loss of privacy, loss of freedoms, the programming. It's not immutable. It can be whatever the government decides. But then the same side of that coin is banning the CBDC might accidentally ban Bitcoin too. So you think about the restrict bill and its ability to possibly ban transactions of cryptocurrencies, although the intended target is the Communist Chinese Party's ability to infiltrate through apps such as TikTok, reportedly. Here we have the link. So this is where it gets interesting, confusing, vague. This bill here, as mentioned in this article, refers to MiCA. And I'm not sure if that's intentional. Definitions are key area of the digital assets, right? Keeps the definition of digital assets broad and introduces regulated digital assets being subset of digital assets included. This is different to the token mapping again. Including assets referenced tokens, electronic money tokens, and exchange tokens, but including financial products. Stay with me. This approach draws on concepts from European Union's MiCA regime. So I thought, well, look up MiCA. If they're referencing MiCA, directly referencing MiCA in this bill, which I would have to actually, let's have a look. Hits, okay, interesting. So are they actually referencing MiCA in the bill, or is that just purely for, okay, it doesn't actually reference MiCA at all. Not even in the notes. Okay, interesting. But, so I thought, well, let's have a look at MiCA. What does that mean? Do some sleuthing. Offers path to regulate token offerings. I'm like, okay, still sounds kind of sucky if you ask me. If you frame it that regulation is bad, or you could frame it that regulation is good because it will allow, the cryptocurrency industry to thrive even further. Now, so I kept digging. Basically, what is MiCA in Europe? The Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation. Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation. MiCA is set up to be a new EU regulation that could be used as a blueprint for other jurisdictions to follow when regulating crypto asset related activities. So I'm like, okay, interesting. It leads on from this article into this article. Did some more digging. You pull up this MiCA. How Europe's MiCA can pave the way for crypto's revival. So the one thing I liked in all of this is this here. The MiCA framework appears to provide full protection to DeFi providers. It says if that something is genuinely decentralized, the people who create the protocol are not responsible for everything on their network. So if the bill in either Australia or the US is proposing that it provides full protection to DeFi providers, if it is truly, genuinely decentralized, then I would have no issue with that. However, more and more, when politicians try to intervene with something they do not understand, they tend to make it worse. I don't know if you've noticed over time, things seem to be getting worse. Best intentions, the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. I believe is a saying, something like that. Now, think about it. What does code do? Code is immutable. Should be immutable. CBDCs are not going to be immutable. These regulations, it's not going to be immutable. They're going to chop and change. So these men, these mice, these men, they're going to come in and they're going to frame it in a certain way. crypto regulation good because, you know, acceptance, while at the same time saying CBDC is good, allowing for the rollout of a central bank digital currency in Australia under the guise of crypto regulation. Let's ban central bank digital currencies. So you could say, hang on, if say in Australia they're treating central bank digital currencies in the same basket as crypto, or a close relative, and then you see this, they're going to ban CBDC. Someone's pointed out, by the way, they could accidentally ban Bitcoin too. So I'm not sure what the politicians are playing at. I mean, it sounds good to ban central bank digital currencies, but then you see it worded in another way to regulate cryptocurrencies. And under the same bill, it literally states the disclosure requirements for facilitators of a central bank digital currency in Australia. So what the bill is actually saying, that we pass this bill, central bank digital currencies are coming no matter what. Oh, and by the way, while this is happening, the bank's failing, the economics a bit stuffed at the moment. Yeah, there's some instability in the globe. Maybe some wars coming. We're having some banks close, and you can't get your cash anymore, or it's extremely hard to get your cash anymore. You might have to travel, you know, halfway across Australia to get your cash out, and you can only take it out in small chunks at a time, limiting the ability for physical cash bank runs. And also, oh yeah, we could just take away banks altogether. We could take away ATMs. We could make cashless ATMs. We could make cashless banks. You can't actually get your cash. We haven't banned cash. You just can't get it. But if you have cash, you will happily take your cash and exchange it for the digital dollar. I mean, your dollars. But like, what, you've already got money in a bank. That's a digital dollar. It's only a stone throw away from becoming a central bank digital currency, whether we like it or not. It's extremely close. It's a lot closer than we think. This is my fear, but at the same time, I do like the MICA, you know, proposal to provide full protection, reportedly, to DeFi providers. If it's something genuinely decentralized, maybe people are going to be flocking to Europe because if they are in crypto, maybe you know, they do actually appreciate that, and it's going to go to where it's treated. Crypto is going to go where it's treated best, because at this point in time, cash looks like it's on the way out, and it looks like central bank digital currencies are trying to replace it. Cash and crypto, real DeFi, is in its way. All right, that's all I got. Thank you for tuning in. If anyone's watching this, thank you on the replay as well. I'll put links to all of this, again, in an unofficial manner. And you can see where I got it from. Just the internet sleuth. And, you know, real DeFi, X, Pulse Chain coming soon, PulseX. I don't think the people who are for central bank digital currencies are going to be openly talking about things like Hex, you know, talking about things like Pulse Chain, talking about things like PulseX. So, to all you influencers out there who are supposedly in cryptocurrency, whether, like, you're probably paid shills, be honest. Mexicans, we're not. You paid shills, you know, I question when you don't talk about cryptocurrencies, real DeFi, you know, real, genuinely decentralized technology. I wonder, are you on the side of the CBDC? Are you on the side of these politicians who think that they know cryptocurrency better than you? That is honestly what I want to know. So, if you're not talking about X, Pulse Chain, PulseX, the fuck are you doing? I hope you're writing letters to your politicians explaining to them no central bank digital currencies. I hope you're explaining to them crypto is different from central bank digital currencies, unlike some bills are proposing. Because if you're not, and one day you wake up and there's no banks, none, is it on you? It might be, you know, it might be, I don't know. All I know is this one single hexagon He's going to continue to try and alert people and inform people, you know, like an informed citizenry should be across the damn world. But for some reason, man, these politicians think they just want to take us and chuck us through the meat grinder. And they want to be the one cranking the handle. But it turns out they might be the ones being thrown into this meat grinder because they're sacrificing all their time and effort to what? To appease their leaders, to appease the talking point, to try and gain more power over a fellow human being. They have no more power over us than we do over them. They work for us. We vote them in and out. We tell them what we want. They don't tell us. But apparently I'm being told to regulate crypto under this bill by the government. Apparently I'm being told we might ban Bitcoin as well as banning CBDCs. Hang on. Wait. I'm also being told by stealth that cash is on the way out because we're going to close branches. Then I'm being told maybe there's going to be issuances of stablecoins or digital currencies. No one else is noticing this. What the fuck? No one else cares. What the fuck? Crazy. Alright. I just hope Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX melts faces. And the amount of profit that he's seen is going to be hard to deny and ignore and not talk about. And if people still refuse to talk about Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX in these conditions, then well, I don't know what controlled opposition, planted shills, like what the fuck? These crypto influencers are getting paid and they're not talking about this. We're all gonna hang separate or hang together. You know what they're saying? Hang or whatever it is. I don't understand. And this tribalism. This fucking tribalism. My coin's better than your coin. It's like, dude, someone is trying to roll out central bank digital currencies, right? Someone is like anti-crypto and they're pretending to be pro-crypto through these bills and legislations. And we're too busy saying my dog coin is better than your fucking dog coin. And then up in the mix, you got the bloody bank coin, XRP. Like, what the fuck? We're crypto. Dude, you're talking about central bank digital currencies. Can you at least acknowledge that? Like, and then Bitcoiners, they're like, oh, everything's a shitcoin except Bitcoin. What do you think is going to happen, right? You somehow magically think all of Bitcoin is going to be excluded from central bank digital currencies when cryptocurrency, the definition is going to be an enemy of central bank digital currencies. And everything is pushing right now for a central bank digital currency in the middle of a banking crisis, in the middle of a fucking depression that's going to come and last for like 10 years. It's just going to go down. It's just going to go down and do a Japan. Like Abenomics. It's going to be down for like 10 years. People in legacy finance can be like, what the fuck? We can't make any yield. Oh my god. Crypto might pump. And they're going to try and close crypto while that shit's pumping and roll out central bank digital currencies that no one wants. By banning cash, they're just closing all the banks and making it fucking cashless. We're cashless. We're healthy. We're clean. But Operation Choke Point 3.0. No cash in existence. And then what? They go for the exchanges. And then what? They roll out the CBDC. And then what? Everyone will be sitting on a fuck ton of crypto. And it won't be worth nothing because you can't trade it for anything. Unless there's a community of people who do value it, can see the value in it, and maybe peer-to-peer transactions. Now that's like last resort most likely. But the way it's going, with this bullshit that they're pulling, the bills, the regulations, no matter what you do, government is going to continue to grow. Personally, I think government should not be growing at this insane rate. It's like it's trying to keep up with inflation. We need more politicians. We need more regulation. I do like, in closing. All right, I'll shut up. In closing. Micah, good. Genuinely decentralized crypto, good. Politicians, even when they're trying to be good, are probably bad. Like, to be honest, like, they tried to ban CBDCs. They might ban Bitcoin too. They try to regulate crypto to be pro-crypto, but they'll roll out CBDCs. Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX fixes this shit. Maybe Ethereum, maybe Bitcoin, I don't know. Maybe some DGens can make some money some other places and just like make some even more money in some other things like Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX. I don't know. I honestly don't know at this point. Maybe Bitcoin pumps to fucking $1 million like everyone keeps crapping on about, and then they all dump it. And they buy some Hex, you know, and no, I don't know. But yeah, when this depression comes along, people are going to be struggling for you. But I mean, like, insanely rich people won't care. They're not. It's not going to affect them. They're going to be hedged. They're going to be making money as everything's tanking. They're going to be like playing around in some markets, and it's not going to affect them at all. Like, there's ways to make money on the markets tanking. It's can be done. But in the way that people follow legacy financial markets, none of this is financial advice, and they follow the news and they get the shit of the shit of the shit, you know, like they get the leftovers, because by the time the big fucking fish have come in and done their thing, what's left? Everyone's fighting over scraps. Information is like that. You think you have breaking information, right? Breaking news, breaking fucking this, breaking that, unless you hear it first from an actual source of information, it's unlikely that you will be able to act in time to take advantage of it, whether that be financial, whatever industry you're in, you know, whether that you're in a competition for technologies, for example. It's like, oh, I found this out. Like, hang on, these motherfuckers already built this shit, and I'm only just discovering this out now. How in front am I? I have to then build this shit. Makes you wonder. Now, that's about it. Alright, I'll wrap this one up. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully one day I'll be able to completely shave this off, although I'm starting to like the look of it personally. And we'll all be insanely wealthy, and then we can influence this nonsense. We can influence these politicians, or I don't know, maybe we can make our own media outlet and tell them what the fuck is actually going on and create our own narrative, you know? Maybe we'll have our own exchanges that can abide by all this bullshit and just make insane amounts of money. Because that's probably what's going to happen. So then they'll just tax everyone to death. That's probably what they're going to do. Then they'll roll out some amazing technology, and whoever's in power at the time will be the savior, and they'll be heralded for years and years and years, and no one will remember when they destroyed the economy and everyone got insanely rich, but then they rolled out some new taxes to tax the fuck out of everyone. that's probably what's going to happen. US elections, if people don't remember what Trump did in terms of the jab, then, and in terms of the censorship, he's against himself even, it's a pretty big flaw. Like, it's a pretty big flaw. Yeah, he's pretty good, but like, politics, man. You have a choice by gunpoint, A or B, you know? Or you choose not to vote at all, and then you go, I didn't vote for this dickhead. I didn't vote for that dickhead. That sounds like a win. Fuck. Meanwhile, real DeFi keeps on building. You know? Like I said, Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX. Really, what else is there gonna be? What else is gonna be? Binance? Fucking Binance. Fuck that shit. I logged into that account, and I swear to God, I had some like from years ago, and it's just gone. I'm like, okay, it's gone. Can I have my transaction history? Non-existent. What the fuck? What do you mean you just scrub data? So you can just scrub. So if I had a bank account, they just start scrubbing records? Nah, that's not legal. I don't think it's legal. Where's my on-chain data? No on-chain data. Fuck. I saw a post somewhere on Twitter. It was like, what was it? Fucking. It'd be funny if Binance is no longer, dominant, whatever, and Pulse Chain replaces Binance because, not a centralized exchange, Maybe that might be a good thing. Maybe, just maybe, like a real, genuine, decentralized platform, who knows. All right. Peace out. Do something, people. Get politically involved, peacefully and politically. Do something. Write to somebody. Tell your politicians what is up. Peacefully and politically. Legibly. With no spelling errors. Make sure they understand that shit. And keep telling them and keep telling them and keep telling them and keep pushing. And don't stop and keep building shit. Because people are gonna be inundated with paperwork and legalese that no one will even understand. They're gonna roll bills at, and all of this here, they're gonna tell me how they read it all and they understood it fully and they voted for it either one way or another. Not to, send a message of we're the pro-crypto party or some shit, or we're the pro-regulation party, whatever they're trying to achieve. They're going, no, I read every single part of this and fully understand every implication, I fully understand every possible legal challenge that could come out of this. I fully understand how this can apply to every single cryptocurrency in existence that is fully genuinely decentralized. And I can fully understand which is not, and I fully understand how to read the code, and I fully understand what a central bank digital currency will mean for this country and other countries around the world, and I fully understand what it means that there'll be no fucking cash in existence in the future for not just me, for my children and my children's children. This is the future we are setting up. We don't care. It's all about the now and our time in power and our time in existence. It's called a timeline. We can fucking change it. We can change it for the better, or we can do nothing and leave it, let it run. We can make this like beautiful Garden of Eden. We can trim it out, grow it, make it do all amazing things, or we can just let it run wild. Don't do it, forest, crazy forest. All right, signing out. Shit, that went way too long. See ya. Peace. Bye.